Well, the colours of autumn are well and truly with us. And they have inspired artists and poets alike throughout the years with their romantic hues. Now today, we're going to be looking at the work of artist and potter Keith Frederick, who's used the earth and the colours of autumn to inspire a new 3D exhibition. Also, November brings a poem, or at least a verse of a poem, that is recited throughout the land. We're going to have a reading of that whole poem. That's all on the Arts and Crafts Show today.
Hello, and as well as pottery and poetry, we hear from Hockney in Los Angeles. And our music performance has an American feel as Anthony Bunting sings live here in the studio a track from his new album, inspired by the great Bob Dylan. But first, My Fair Lady has become a piece of classic musical theatre since it first opened in London in 1959. It keeps on breaking box office records ever since the original production with Rex Harrison and Julie Andrews. Each and every revival sees the crowds flock to see Eliza Doolittle transformed from Cockney Sparrow to genteel lady. Well, the latest to take on this demanding role in the latest revival on tour at the moment is Catherine Mount. Catherine, glad you could join us, your genteelness yourself.
Thank you, nice to be here, Ross.
So I hope you're enjoying the production at the moment.
I am, very, very much, yeah. I mean, we haven't opened yet, but yes, the rehearsal period has been absolutely fantastic for me.
So do we get to hear you burst into song and dance now here upon the table? Or?
Today I don't think so. I'm not not really sure whether your mics could handle me doing that today.
I suppose it's a bit cruel asking people to sing this early.
Well, yeah.
Well, one thing, I mean, a lot of viewers at home aren't going to know you for musical theatre at all, are they? They're
That's
going to
right.
know you from other roles on television.
Precisely, yeah.
And so are they going to be shocked?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very different discipline, and for me, I've spent a lot of time over the past few months sort of learning to project myself in the theatre in a completely different way. Obviously, as you know, working in television, it's you know, it's all about making yourself as natural as possible, and this is a completely different skill.
For the past year, well, 2 years now, most of our viewers are used to seeing you on Emmerdale.
Yep.
And your particularly gruesome death.
Yes, I was
last week.
Squashed, yes.
Yes. I mean, whose choice was that? Was it to do with going into a new production, or was it because, is this why you're doing this production, because you've been killed off by a falling cow, or was it because of...
Actually, funnily enough, it was my decision to move on, and I decided, they did approach me, the writers approached me and said, how would I like to wind it up? Would I like to have the opening to come back?
Yeah.
And I decided that actually, no, you know, if I'm going, then I'd rather move on and say goodbye to it for good, which has been very difficult because I spent a good couple of years.
No, I mean, I can understand doing that, but the actual choice to be killed by a cow falling on top of you was a rather strange one.
Yeah, that wasn't my choice, I have to say. I was a little shocked when I saw the script myself.
I think people are going to be... So, does it make it difficult in the audience's view to sort of come to a theatre and that's the last thing they remember seeing you in, and now they see you singing and dancing?
Well, we'll see. But I think people will see a very, very different me. I mean, singing has always been a great love of mine anyway, but I've had to learn a lot of new things, like particularly with dance.
Well, we'll all get to see it very soon, hopefully. And so that's going to be on tour in the next...
We start the week after next. Yep, the week after next.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I hope my ticket's in the post on its way to me now.
It shall be now.
No falling cows, just
just lots of singing and dancing and lots of fun. Yeah. Really
okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that immensely. Thank you for joining us, Catherine.
My pleasure. Thank
But
you.
now we have 3D art. It is the generic name given to not only sculpture but also pottery that stands apart from being just a utilitarian practical item. Keith Frederick has taken the potter's art to a new level, and his work will be on display next week at the Norton Wood Gallery in Evesham. So here's a taster of what will be on show.
Well, some really exquisite pieces here. Now, we're very fortunate that Keith Frederick has spared the time from setting up his exhibition to be with us today. Keith, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, some lovely pieces. But were you always a potter? How did you discover that you could be a sculptor?
Well, I was a gardener for many years, and as you know, you use shape, form, colour, light in gardening, and it was sort of a natural progression to expand my sort of artistic thoughts and incorporate pottery.
Now, okay, I was saying a bit of an autumnal theme, but some of these pieces, like this very classical piece, doesn't say autumn to me.
Ah, well, this is actually the Greek god of gardening. And the Greeks actually celebrated autumn in a very different way to us. They saw it as the passing on, and it was seen more in the form of a wake, I suppose. So you enjoyed it, embraced it.
Okay, okay. And is that a similar idea for that one as well?
Yes, that's very similar.
And they do look very much like garden ornaments as well. They're very sort of garden based, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yeah. They're made robustly to
now,
withstand
this
that.
is a nice simple piece, but very, very earthy.
Yes, well, this, as you can see, dragonflies on here. And in the autumn, of course, all the insects and dragonflies die, and they become part of the earth again, which was the inspiration for that.
This is my personal favourite, this piece. I like its rusticness.
Yeah, it's very sweet. It actually comes from a gardener that I used to work with, and in the autumn he always used to bring seed to feed the birds, and he had a little sack that he brought it in, and it was a sort of a celebration of him, really. He's passed away now.
Very, very nice vase. Now, this you have to explain to me. I really can't see the relevance of autumn in this vase. What's the inspiration for that?
Well, this is the beautiful autumnal deep blue sunsets when you know it's going to be a frosty night and a cold morning, which lends itself to this shape and gives it a cold blue. Yeah.
No, it's very impressive. So when can we look forward to the exhibition?
Oh, the exhibition is running from the end of this month, so beginning of December, through to the end of January at the Wood Norton Gallery.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
My pleasure.
David Hockney. Famous all over the world for his imaginative paintings, is especially renowned in his hometown of Bradford for designing the cover of the local telephone directory of all things. Well, you may have read in today's papers that his sister Catherine Hockney has been asked by rival telecoms company Cable & Wireless to design the cover for the Evesham telephone directory. Well, she's hopefully joining me on the phone now, live from California. Catherine, can you hear me?
I can, Ross, yeah. Hi.
Fantastic. We've got everything working at last. So, what did you think when Cable & Wireless actually approached you? I mean, this is a bit of a strange request, surely.
It is a strange request, yeah, but obviously I went through it with David, so I thought that it probably had quite a bit to do with him.
So, have you discussed this with David? Is there a kind of a phone book rivalry between the pair of you now?
I think there probably will be from now on, yeah. But I did, yes, I did have a brief discussion with him about it, just to make sure that he didn't mind me taking on the project.
So is there kind of like a league table of which phone directory who wants to do next? I mean, are you working your way up to the New York directory or something
We'll
like
have
that?
to see. We'll have to see how well we do with this next one.
So, I mean, can you tell us roughly what it is we're going to be expecting from this cover, or...?
I wish I could, but I'm afraid it's top secret, so you'll have to wait until it comes out.
You've been sworn to secrecy over the phone book.
I have.
Well, I mean, taking inspiration then, for example, I mean, what actually, could you look at every individual names in the book and be inspired that way, or...?
It's doubtful. That would take me a good few years, and I've only got a few months, so...
Oh, well, when's the book published then, so we can all get a quick...
Well, I think it's coming out actually in April next year, so...
Well, I look forward to it, and hopefully you will get the New York one as well.
Thanks.
Bye then, Catherine. Bye then.
Now, back in the 1960s, Bob Dylan turned folk music on its head and created a new genre, protest music. Joan Baez, Tom Paxman and Joni Mitchell were all inspired by Bob, taking simple acoustic folk music and writing lyrics that expressed their anger and frustration of the times. Well, Anthony Bunting is keeping that tradition alive. He starts a new nationwide tour in a couple of weeks' time, bringing this type of music to a new generation of fans. And here he is, live in the studio today with She Belongs to Me.
She's got everything she needs. She's an artist, she don't look back. She's got everything she needs. She's an artist, she don't look back. Take the dark out of the nighttime and paint daytime black. You'll start out standing proud to steal her anything she sees. You'll start out standing proud to steal her anything she sees. You'll wind up peeking through a keyhole down upon your knees. She never stumbles, she's got no place to fall. She never stumbles, she's got no place to fall. She's nobody's child, the law, they can't touch her at all. She wears an Egyptian ring that sparkles before she speaks. She wears an Egyptian ring that sparkles before she speaks. She's a hypnotist collector, you are a walking antique. Bow down to her on Sunday, salute her when her birthday comes. Bow down to her on Sunday, salute her when her birthday comes. On Halloween buy a trumpet, on Christmas give her a drum. She's got everything she needs, she's an artist, she don't look back. She's got everything she needs, she's an artist, she don't look back. Take the dark out of the nighttime and paint daytime black. Take the dark out of the nighttime and paint daytime black.
Excellent, superb. It's great to hear fantastic music in the studio anyway, but especially when it's played that well and it's a fantastic song such as that. Thank you, Anthony. You're going to be on tour at the moment, is that correct?
I am. I've just finished an album of my own work, and I've added a few covers in there as well, which are songs that I really love. So that's being released and coinciding with my national tour.
Well, I mean, I'm used to seeing a band behind you.
Yeah.
And for this album, is it with a band or is it just yourself?
I am mostly playing alone. I do have some accompaniment of some sort of acoustic instruments such as mandolins, banjos, kind of going back to roots music, some folk, some country.
So there's more of an acoustic feel rather than we've got rid of all the electric guitars
rock,
and so on.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I mean, this is an album of all your own original material?
It is. Well, most of it is. I've added a couple of songs such as that one, which is She Belongs to Me by Bob Dylan, was written by Bob Dylan, but was obviously done by a lot of other artists as well. I've added that one because I really love it. It's a great song. Super. It means a lot to me. And there's one or two other covers in there as well. Well,
I look forward to hearing that, and that's going to be in the shops at the moment. So if you can all rush out now and get that one to #1 as soon as you possibly can. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Early November sees remembrance services held all over the country for those that have died in the 2 world wars and in the conflicts since. Of most of them, a short poem, the first line of which is, "They shall not grow old as we are that are left to grow old," will be movingly read. But few know that this is in fact just one stanza of a 7-verse poem, For the Fallen, by Lawrence Binyon. Binyon, a curator at the British Museum at the time, wrote it in September 1914, shortly after the Great War had started, when the first of what were to become millions of casualties was just starting to be reported back home. Now here to read the entire poem for us are Catherine Mount and Keith Frederick, For the Fallen.
With proud thanksgiving, a mother for her children, England mourns for her dead across the sea. Flesh of her flesh they were, spirit of her spirit, fallen in the cause of the free.
Solemn the drums thrill. Death august and royal sings sorrow up into immortal spheres. There is music in the midst of desolation and a glory that shines upon our tears.
They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
They mingle not with their laughing comrades again. They sit no more at familiar tables at home. They have no lot in our labour of the daytime. They sleep beyond England's foam.
But where our desires are and our hopes profound, felt as a wellspring that is hidden from sight, to the innermost heart of their own land, they are known as the stars are known to the night.
As the stars that shall be bright when we are dust, moving in marches upon this heavenly plain, as the stars that are starry in the time of our darkness, to the end they remain.
And in the world we live in today, let's hope there's a lot more people that get to hear that over the next week. But now our roundup of what's new in the arts world. A photographic exhibition of how the Sistine Chapel was restored and the frescoes of Michelangelo brought to life is on at the Phoenix Library. Beautiful close-up of high-quality photographs show all the masterly detail that Michelangelo miraculously created on the ceiling in the Vatican Chapel.
A touring production of Cats is halfway through its run. It has had rave reviews, so if it comes your way, do try to see it. It's in Thirsk for the rest of this week, Bristol next week, before moving to the Wimbledon Theatre in southwest London.
Let there be light. And of course, don't forget Captain Mount's interpretation of Eliza Doolittle. Thank you, in the new production of My Fair Lady, which opens the week after next. And while we're on a musical note, Aled Jones is on a singing tour this week, Basingstoke, and next Saturday in Skegness.
The Royal Ballet are performing some of Sir Frederick Ashton's best works, including Daphnis and Chloe, as part of the tribute season to mark 100 years since his birth. Tickets for the performances, which run up to the 25th of November at the Royal Opera House, start at £4, right up to £50.
Diana Krall is appearing at the Albert Hall, London tonight. And as tickets have been selling fast, there are 2 extra performances on Saturday and Sunday. So if you like her style of music, there is still time to go and see her.
And finally, artist Colin McCohen has a sale of his prints, an eclectic mix of contemporary images that caused a stir last year when his exhibition was the talk of Broadway in Worcestershire. Well, that is all for this week's programme.
Next week, we'll be looking at how subtle lighting techniques can transform flat, uninteresting pictures into works of art to rival Rembrandt and, more recently, myself.
And I will be talking to a world-famous sound engineer about how in the television industry, sound has developed from just those huge and sensitive microphones to all the subtlety and finesse modern sound artists create for productions such as this.
And we will be discovering if our camera crew have remembered anything from their latest tour of duty at Wood Norton, when the directors from Television Centre in London tell us how they have coped with our crew members on their return to the big city. Hope you can join us then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.